Hello everyone, today's lecture is on uh, principles of generation of tidal energy. The tidal energy is also another renewable energy source, and here it utilizes the ocean's tides for power electricity generation. And similar to the hydroelectric power plant, here too the water's potential energy is utilized for the power generation. Uh, that is here the why the tides where occurs in the sea is usually the gravitational pull between the earth and moon and the sun causes the tides, and these tides of different types, that is of low tide as well as the high tide. When the earth, moon and the sun are in the straight line, that is the gravitational field between the earth and the moon are in the straight, and the field influences the high tide line. During the high tide line the power generation is also high, and also if the moon is perpendicular to the earth, then the tide is low tide, that is the gravitational pull between them is weak, thereby it is the tides occurs where low tides, and here the power generation during that period is very less when compared to high tide line. And also the tides sometimes when the moon is near to the earth, it may be call it as Perigee. Here the power generation is about 15% higher than the usual, whereas the earth as well as the moon is far away, then the tide may call it as apogee. During that time the power generation is 15% less when compared to the normal high or low tide period. So it depends upon the tide rise only, here the power generation occurs. So the main cause or the main production of the tidal power is depends upon the uh, high tide as well as the low tide. It mainly depends on the gravitational pull between the earth and the moon. And what are all the main components of the tidal power? Here the main components were barrage, sluice gate, turbine and the generator. In the tidal power, the potential energy of the seawater is utilized for the power generation. And here this barrage is nothing but it is a similar one like the dam that was constructed in the river water bodies. Here the dam is constructed in the sea or the ocean, thereby the water that was stagnant here, and also it creates the different water level, that is if it is in here we call it as a chide basin, and this one we call it as a high or high tide line. If it is in a high tide line, the water is move or flow to the turbine through this high tide line to this tidal basin, whereas thereby here the turbine is there, thereby the turbine rotates due to the variation in the height, and also the potential energy is converted into mechanical energy, and thus turbine converts the mechanical generate turbine converts the mechanical energy into the electrical energy, and then it was transformed to the distribution lines. Similar way, if it is in a low tide line, here the tides were here, and it was a flow from here to here. Thereby the water moves from low tide level to the high tide level during the low tide period. So it depends upon the situation, that is high tide or the low tide, the power generation occurs. And the sluice gate which is similar to, it controls the flow rate of the water in the barrage, and the turbine that converts the potential energy into mechanical energy. Compared to the hydroelectric or the wind power generation, here the turbine is very strewed, since the density of the seawater is higher than the normal water as well as the air, thereby it is compared to the other types of renewable energy sources, this one is a costlier one. And the generator having the similar same application, that is converting the mechanical energy into the electrical energy. and then it is moved to the transformer. There the potential is maintained to the constant one, that is an alternative source, alternative current source, and then it is sent to the distribution line for the further utilization of that power. And this figure shows how the tidal power works. That is the main components we saw this barrage, that is this one, like same way the dam, like here the water. This one is the low tide situation, that is the water from the tide basin is flow into the ocean, thereby the here the difference in the water level is occurs, thereby the power generation occurs. That is this one causes the flow of water from here to here, causes the blades of the turbine to rotate, thereby it generates the power. Similar situation if it is in a high tide line, like this picture. That is here it is in the high tide line. The water flows from here to here. The dam is similar to the barrage one. That is from high tide line to the water flows to the tidal basin, thereby the blades of the turbine rotates and generates the power. This one is the low tide line. Here the water flow from here to here, and thus causes the turbine to rotate, thereby the mechanical energy of the turbine is converted into power generation and was utilized further.